Hello everyone, welcome to IAS Mains Answer Writing Program. Today our first day and our first question is, did the Government of India Act 1935 lay down a federal constitution? Discuss. This question is for 200 words and is of 10 marks. Just read the question. Did the Government of India Act 1935 lay down a federal constitution? While you're reading the question, you have to read 2 to 3 times. Then only you can able to understand the need of the question. And try to find out the keywords present in this question. Here the keywords are Government of India Act 1935 and the Federal Constitution. These are the keywords that we can find in this question. So, Government of India Act, we all know that, right? So now we have to remember the features of Government of India Act 1935 and to segregate the federal features mentioned in this act. See, this question here is to discuss. Discuss means you have to debate on the paper. If it is yes or no, but you have to debate on both sides and end with a balanced approach. That's what needed here. Here you have to give reason for both for and against. This can't be done in one answer. Keep practicing every day with different types of questions that will shape your answer further. And this question is to discuss and it's for 200 words. So every time we attend an answer, we have to remember the word limit. Before framing an answer in your mind, just aware of the word limit. Then according to that, frame your answer in your mind. Then start writing. So the first part of an answer is the introduction part. Introduction is the most important part of your answer. In introduction itself, they can be able to understand that do you know the theme of the answer or not. So make your introduction very attractive. Here the question asks your opinion. So start with yes. You have to agree that Government of India Act 1935 provided for a federal structure in India. Then in the introduction itself, you have to tell all the features shortly. Like here, yes, Government of India Act 1935, which marked as a milestone towards a responsible government in India, which provided a federal structure of the government in India. So here I stated the reason why I am saying yes. And I am listing out all the federal features of that act. That includes All India Federation, division of subjects, public service commissions at all levels, and federal legislature with a federal court and a federal bank. This is my introduction. In this introduction itself, the reader can understand that I know the features of Government of India Act 1935 which are federal in character. So in the next part in the content part, I am going to explain each and every features that I mentioned in the introduction. So whenever you write an answer, make your introduction very attractive. So that is all about the introduction. And look, here if the question is for 10 marks, my introduction is enough for getting a 3 mark out of that. So always make your introduction perfect and try to include all the points in the introduction itself in a short form. Then we are moving to the next step, that is the content. Content part is the very essential part and it's an important part of your answer, each and every answer that you write. And here I am just describing each and every features that I added in my introduction part. See, the first point I added here is about the All India Federation. All India Federation. We know that the question is about federal constitution. So I have listed all the federal characters of the act, and the important thing about the federation is the division of powers among different units. And this point, All India Federation that consists of princely states and provinces as units, power among these units were divided into 3 lists. Yes, so the division of powers, that is the most essential point here needed. So I added the point in first place. Here I used to draw some boxes, like I used the boxes for federal list, provincial list and concurrent list. See, the powers were divided into 3 lists, like we have now the central list, state list and concurrent list. The same as the federal list is like the center list and the provincial list is like a state list and the concurrent list as the same. So then I am adding a subheading, that is Federalist, and here I am explaining what is the Federalist and what all consist of the Federalist. And Federalist is for center, over which the central legislature had exclusive power of legislation. And example, currency and military were included in the Federalist. And the next point is the provincial list. Provincial list is for provinces, over which provincial legislature had the power of legislation, like education. Then next one is concurrent list. The concurrent list is for both, and the central and provincial legislature can make rules on that. Then the next point is, this act provided for a federal legislature with House of Assembly and Council of State at the center. In the previous point itself, I have mentioned that there was a central legislature which had the exclusive power of legislation. So I am here explaining that the central legislature was itself established through this act. This act provided for the federal legislature, that is the central legislature. This has two parts, that is the House of Assembly and the Council of State at the center. This will be also useful in your prelims preparation also. So the next point is, provided for the establishment of Federal Bank, that is Reserve Bank of India, RBI, to control the currency and credit of the country. That was the next point. Then we know that the Federal Bank, that means all the powers of this RBI are under the central government. Then this act provided for the establishment of not only the Federal Public Service Commission but also for a Provincial Public Service Commission and a Joint Public Service Commission for two or more provinces. That means the Federal Public Service Commission is a central body, but this act provided for a Provincial Public Service Commission. That means there is a division of powers between center and state regarding the Public Service Commission. And for two or more provinces also Joint Public Service Commissions were also established. And then also this act provided for the establishment of Federal Court, which was set up in 1937. The Federal Court, that means the judiciary. Judiciary was given centralized power, so it established only a Federal Court, and which was set up in 1937. So this is the body part. So I explained each and every point that I mentioned in the introduction, and I am moving towards the conclusion part. Remember that this is a 200 word question, so we have to limit our presentation. So in the conclusion part, this question is to discuss, so we have to get a balanced approach in this place. Then the conclusion. Even though the act provided for All India Federation, this never came into being. That is, this act only provided for some federal features, but that never came into being because joining this was optional for princely state. The princely states were not supposed to join this because that was optional to them, so they didn't join it. So the federation never came into being. Also, the federal legislature that we talked about, the central legislature, right, was not a sovereign body. We know that the central list was completely under the control of central legislature, but this was not a sovereign body because the governor general had a veto power over the bills passed by it. Even though the central legislature is passing some bill, the governor general of India had to approve that bill, and he has some veto power. So this central legislature or the federal legislature was not a sovereign body. Hence, this act was federal in letter but not in spirit. See how I started my answer. I started my answer like, yes, Government of India Act 1935 is provided for a federal structure of government in India. And at my conclusion, I concluded that even though this act provided for a federal structure, it's only in letter but not in spirit. So here you can see the balanced approach that I had given, right? Whenever we answer a question that asks for us to discuss, we have to give them a balanced approach. That is, we have to say for and against. So here I started with for argument and I ended up with against argument. So it's completely a balanced approach here. So and for everyone it's not possible to remember all these points when at the exam time. So but we have to understand the theme of the question. We have to know that the Government of India Act 1935 have some federal characters, and the federal characters were not implemented in that act because of the optional choice given to the princely state to join it or not. So you have to remember that point, then you can able to answer this question in any way they are asked. And another important thing is your answer must consist of a structure that includes an introduction, a content, and a conclusion. And always try to write the answers in this format paper. Like you have to have a margin on both sides, because you are going to write the exam in this kind of paper on your exam. If you are writing your practice testers on a normal paper, it will be hard for you when you are writing the examination. So always try to write questions in such papers. And always remember that you are not crossing the border lines, because that consists of minus marks in your exam. Okay, and that's all about this question. And many people are asking me for the reference material. Just Lakshmikant Indian Polity book is enough, and I'm using the 6th edition of Lakshmikant book and 1.9, page number 1.9. In the historical background chapter, you can see the Government of India Act of 1935, and that's enough. And what's the excess thing is the creativity that you add to the points given in the Lakshmikant book, and try to add more points while you answering this. And this is your first attempt in this question, so try 2 to 3 times answering this question. Maybe after 1 week, just answer this question again, and there will be a lot of changes among the question that you answered today and you're going to answer on the next week. Okay, then keep practicing and try to do more questions in a day. Get ready for mains before prelims, because after prelims you don't have much time to prepare for your mains, because the mains is the very important stage in clearing your examination. You have to score a good mark in mains. And every day at this time we will be uploading our everyday question discussion, and hope you all understand. And if you have any doubts, just text us on our WhatsApp or to our email ID, or ask me on the tomorrow's class. Okay, then have a great day. Bye guys.